Arts Commission meeting of November 3rd, 2022. We'll call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Ms. Fatua, would you call the roll, please?
Do the Pledge of Allegiance first.
Oh, we're doing that out of order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. I apologize. It is roll call. All right. Commissioner Ashendorf.
Present.
Commissioner Lucia.
Present.
Commissioner Mann.
Present.
Commissioner Ochoa.
Present.
Commissioner Wonderchek.
Present.
Commissioner Zuckerman.
Present.
We have quorum.
Thank you very much. The next order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to invite Ms. Wonderchek to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. And now we'll call Ms. Green for the next item on the agenda.
Thank you. New commissioners, it's a pleasure to be here with you tonight and to deliver the oath to you. If you would kindly join me down here and we'll do your oath of allegiance. Just kind of right along here, and as well as zoom you in. Perfect. Wonderful. And if you would all please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you'll bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you're about to enter? Congratulations. You're welcome. Yeah. Now it's down to business.
All right, the next order of business is welcome, Director Minter.
Thank you very much. As was stated earlier, welcome to the first ever Arts Commission meeting here in the city of Costa Mesa. I am Jason Minter, the Parks and Community Services Director. I've had the pleasure of serving in this role for a little over 2 years now, so I'm relatively new to the area, although I have frequented Orange County quite a lot during my younger years. It is great to be a part of this. I wanted to take a minute to introduce you to our staff members that will be assisting you. First off, we have a special guest. It's our City Attorney, Ms. Kim Barlow, who is going to be here to do your Brown Act training. Kim, do you have anything you wanted to share before your...
Congratulations, ladies, and I'm very much looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Kim. We have our Recreation Manager, Monique Villasenor. Monique, do you have anything to say?
Just excited to be here and work with all of you.
Moving down the chain, we have our Recreation Supervisor, Ashley Thomas, who's been holding down the arts fort while all of the rest of us came on board. Ashley?
Wonderful. We've been waiting a long time for this day. I'm very excited to be here tonight. Thank you.
And we have our art specialist, Lorette Garner. Lorette?
Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you and to share the arts, and we have lots of new stuff coming, so I'm really excited.
You've met our city clerk, Brenda Green. So Brenda, thank you for coming and being here for the oath tonight. We also have our staff member. You may have met her, exchanged emails, Miss Laura Fatua. Laura, do you have any comments?
Just welcome.
And she has her understudy, because that's such a critical role here. Katia is learning the system. Katia is relatively new in her position, but in case Laura can't be here for a meeting, Katia would take over the reins doing, behind mission control. So anyway, that is our staff team that will be here to assist you in any way that we can. When I'm here at the meetings, I kind of act as the sergeant at arms. That's something that I believe Ms. Barlow might discuss a little bit, but trying to make sure that meetings go to order, that anything that's on the agenda is handled in the correct way. It'll take a little bit of getting used to if you haven't sat in this environment before, but without further ado, I will turn it over for our next item on the agenda, or for the public comments. But welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I know there's a lot of people that are super excited to have this commission in place. There's going to be a lot of very interesting and complicated work that is brought before this commission in an effort to move the arts forward. If there's anything that you need, please reach out to me directly or through Laura. She helps monitor, my calendar and get things set up. But that is enough for me as of now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Director Minter. The next item on the agenda is public comment. This is a time for the public to address the commission on items that are not on this evening's agenda. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to address the commission?
No, we just want to show our local support.
Thank you very much.
I think it's very, very cool. It's a great step for Costa Mesa.
Thank you. We're glad to have you here. Ms. Fatua, is there anyone on Zoom for public comment?
Yes, I have Mark Vuksevich.
All right.
Mark, you may now speak.
Thank you.
Good evening, Parks Commission. So first and foremost, congratulations to being being in your seats right now. It's an incredible thing to be at the City Arts and to have an arts commission. If anyone knows me in my personal capacity and that I'm at every city council meeting, people should know that I go straight to business and I care quite a bit about the city. So I just want to quickly say that I really hope the Arts Commission can consider bus shelters as a form of public art and make them incredibly beautiful within the city of Costa Mesa, as they're a architectural piece in the public right of way that I think we can be thinking about as beautiful and artistic and as a place that people are going to want to flock to. And so while I think murals are wonderful and add a lot of vibrance, and I love murals and I would like more of those, I really want to put bus shelters on the radar of the commission as something to consider in the future. Thank you and congratulations again.
Thank you, Mr. Vukovic. Is there anyone else? Ms. Fatua?
If there are any other members who wish to speak, please raise your hand. There are no other members.
All right. Then at this time, we'll close public comment. The next item on the agenda is commissioner comments. This is an opportunity for the commissioners to have 3 minutes to tell us what they're up to. At this point, I think what we'll do this evening is make sure that all of the commissioners use this time to introduce themselves to each other, to ourselves, and to the public. So let's start with Commissioner Lucia.
First time with this microphone. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, wonderful. First off, I just want to thank the city staff for your wonderful preparation for this evening. I know there was a lot of work done in advance, and I wanted to thank the council for the nomination. My name is Erica Lucia, and I am a lifelong lover and supporter of the arts. I had the privilege from a young age to have training and a background in the theater and performing arts, and I really believe it has shaped my worldview for the better. In college, I studied public relations and advertising at the Dodge College of Film and Media Arts at Chapman University. It was there that I worked at Musco Center for the Arts, and I was able to develop a background in operations and marketing for a large-scale theater facility. In my day job, I work in local government. I am a district director for a local state senator here, and public service is my passion. So I believe that is what I provide to the commission, and I'm looking forward to working with our wonderful colleagues to ensure that Costa Mesa residents have access to arts education. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next, I'd like to welcome Commissioner Mann.
Hi, good evening. I'm Allison Mann. It's nice to meet all of you. And I'm really excited to meet everyone else on the commission. And thank you all, as Erica has said, about putting all of this together. It's really great. And I can't tell you how excited I was when I saw it in, I guess, this spotlight or the newsletter that you send out in Costa Mesa and asking, you know, who's interested in being on the Arts Commission. I got like a spark, and I went, I do. I want to do this. This sounds so exciting. And so I got online immediately. I think I got online right away, and I just filled it out as best I could. And then I forgot about it. And I'm really grateful that I was chosen to be part of this commission. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I was born and raised in a theater. My parents owned a 49-seat equity waiver theater. My father was an actor. My mom was a producer. We were very poor. All of our sets came from the street, but they looked great, and they got Drama Critics Awards, Drama Log Awards all the time because they were so, you know, nice and exacting, and I guess a sign of the times. And so my dad worked a lot as an actor, and I eventually became an actress, and we would go back and forth between New York and LA. And during that time, I ran a theater. I built a couple of theaters. I've also, from the ground up, I built theater companies up from the ground up. I've worked with and know a lot of people in Los Angeles in the acting industry, but also writers, directors, choreographers, producers, as you probably know, performing arts, and I just love it. And it's just, anytime I'm around it, it just fills me up completely. So I wanted to get involved in that again. I'm a mother of 3 right now. I have a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 10-year-old. That's my daughter, Harper, right there. And they're all great athletes. And they like the arts, but they haven't been exposed as much to the arts as I was when I was growing up, that was my whole world. So I want them to be exposed much more to the arts. So I try to take them to Seegerstrom, to South Coast Rep, and to, my son goes to Mater Dei, so we'll go see the plays there. But, you know, just anything that's kind of available in the area. And I just hope that there will be more things available in the area. We live on the west side, and there's so much great surf and skate stuff going on there, and with music and with art, and you know, they have the fine art galleries, but they also have the graffiti art, and it's just kind of branched out into so many different fields. And also Volcom and all these other places are there, so the fashion industry for surf and skate is there, but I just feel like it's gone beyond that as well, and it's exploding, as is Sobeka and all of these other places. And I just feel like Costa Mesa is an amazing place, and it has so much opportunity, and it makes my head explode when I think about all of it. So I'm gonna stop talking about it now, because I could go on and on. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, Commissioner Ochoa.
Hi, my name is Elisa Ochoa. I'm a visual artist, an arts professional, an educator, and a parent living here in Costa Mesa. I'm aware of many hats, as most creatives are, and I'm thrilled to now include Arts Commissioner in the mix with everyone. It's an honor to serve our city and help bolster the arts in all of our communities. And I was just kind of struck by the stories that people had about their own personal experience of art. And although I've only been living in Costa Mesa for a little over 3 years, I've been visiting here for the past 20 years. And one of the first public art pieces I saw here, I actually wrote about in my thesis, which was Noguchi's California scenario. And it's an experience that I've introduced to my child. It was formative in my relationship with my husband and the city here. And it was very powerful, and I hope just to continue that legacy in different capacities. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Wondercheck.
I completely feel this is an honor to be here. I have a pretty strong background within the arts. I was, or I am a cellist, orchestral conductor. I've taught here in the Newport Mesa School District when I first began teaching, and was a teacher of promise, awarded that for teaching orchestra as well as general music. And then I moved on into teaching at the Irvine School District, where I was a master teacher, director of honor orchestras, and at the same time, too, an adjunct professor at Vanguard University for music. And other things that I've done within the arts is I've taught for 18 years at the Waldorf School of Orange County, another program that's located here in the city of Costa Mesa, as the director of music with about 5 orchestras that I worked with there. What I do now, outside of all that, let me back up. I have 3 children, and I'm married to a wonderful husband. My 3 children are also artists as well as athletes, which I believe you mentioned as well with your wonderful children. So I run now the Arts and Learning Conservatory, which is a nonprofit organization here in Costa Mesa for the last 18 years. And this organization makes the arts accessible and equitable to children. We're in about 55 schools throughout Orange County, including San Bernardino County, making orchestra, band, musical theater classes available to children who wouldn't normally have that access. And just making the arts something that everyone has the right to. We're doing that for children. So this organization also is award-winning, which I'm excited to say, and we're excited about other things that will come from that. So again, I'm just excited to be here to lend my area of expertise in the arts, and I want to see the city thrive and really live up to that title of the City of the Arts. And with this wonderful commission, I'm very excited to see what we're able to do for all of you. And thank you again for having us be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Zuckerman.
Super glad to be here. I am Heidi Zuckerman. I'm the CEO and director of the Orange County Museum of Art. We opened our new building to the public on the 8th of October. We did a 24-hour opening from 5 p.m. on October 8th until 5 p.m. on October 9th. We had more than 10,000 people come in the building in the first 24 hours. We probably had another 2,000 to 4,000 people out on the plaza who couldn't come in. But they came back that within the first 5 days, we had another 10,000 people. So within a week, we were able to serve over 20,000 people in the new Orange County Museum of Art. So that exceeds what we would see in a year in our previous location in Newport Beach. So really thrilled to be in Costa Mesa. One of the things that is our value is that this is everyone's museum and everyone is welcome, and how we are also emphasizing that is we have free general admission for the first 10 years. So free general admission for the first 10 years. So that means anyone can come as often as they want. And I hope that people are feeling welcome when they come. We're thinking about the museum as an art sanctuary. We've selected people to work in our front of house who have high EQ, who are cognizant of different barriers of entry beyond economic, who are sensitive to different bumpers that might be very visible to them, but maybe invisible to others, and really reaching out to people to, again, make everyone feel like this is their museum. So I'm honored to be on the Arts Commission here. I don't live in Costa Mesa, but of course I work in Costa Mesa, and my commitment is to connect as many people to art and artists as possible to make their lives better, and excited to be able to do that in addition to my role in the institution here as a public servant. So thank you for the privilege of being here.
Thank you very much. My name is Charlene Ashendorf, and I'm a 20-year resident of Costa Mesa, and I served on the Cultural Arts Committee for the City of Costa Mesa for over 12 years. And so today is something that so many of us have been working toward for years. And it's such a privilege to be a part of this distinguished group of commissioners. And I'd like to thank the staff, the City Council, but also the hundreds of stakeholders who put their time and interest into our cultural arts master plan. That's why we're here. We're here to ensure that the arts are for everyone in Costa Mesa and that we are the city of the arts. And so my background is that I'm a grant writer. I've been a grant writer and fundraiser my career, a nonprofit manager. I started writing stories at the age of 7 and poetry at 10. I've had both of my works published by high school, and a little side note, it was Paul Simon who took my first poem from me. So that just discloses part of my age, but literature and writing is really important to me, and I hope that will be part of the arts as we move forward. And thank you. It really is a privilege to be a part of this commission. So with that, we will move to new business, and we'll turn this part of the meeting over to a presentation by City Attorney Barlow.
Thank you. I would say Chair Ashendorf. I would say, how about Acting Chair Ashendorf, since you haven't properly had your elections yet. This is going to be, the PowerPoint that I have for you is only about the Brown Act. It's actually rather lengthy as I sit here and look at it now. So I'm going to try to go through it quickly. Each of you as members of the commission will likely be designated filers for our Form 700, and therefore will also have to receive 2 hours of AB 1234 training, which includes some of the topics I'll be touching on here, and 2 hours of sexual harassment prevention training. I think Acting Chair Ashendorf is lucky enough that she's already done that recently, so she can check that box off. It only has to be done every 2 years. The topics I think are fascinating, but I'll try to do it quickly tonight so that you can get on to your other business. And I do want to say I also have a background in the arts, not as dramatic or wonderful as any of you. I sing in a rock and roll band, which is like my secret superpower, right? Yeah, it's a garage band, really. But it's great fun, and I've been doing that for more than 20 years. And I have, my children are all artistic in one way or another, acting, costuming, live theater, poetry, writing, and so on, as well as musicians. So it's exciting to be here. It's exciting to see this commission launch tonight, and I'm sure you all are going to do wonderful work. So I'll just give you a quick primer on the Brown Act. It'll be quicker than it appears as I go through these slides. Are you going to run it for me, darling? Okay. Go for it. All right. So the Brown Act is the primary method of requiring transparency in government these days. All agency actions have to be taken openly, with deliberations to be conducted openly, and all meetings of a legislative body must be open and public. The legislative body includes not only the City Council, but all its commissions, committee, and boards, or other bodies created by formal action, and it can even include a private corporation. Next. Now, a meeting is supposed to be a congregation of majority of the members of the legislative body in the same time, place, and location, including teleconference locations, to hear, discuss, deliberate, or take action upon any item within the subject matter jurisdiction. However, we'll come back to this one. You have to be really careful, because right now you could be having a Brown Act meeting if you were all in a different place, communicating via a number of different methods. You wouldn't even have to be doing it all at the same time to be having a meeting under the definition of the Brown Act. So we'll be not. I'm not going to restart now. Hold me a second here. Remind me tomorrow. Okay. You can go ahead to the next one. Now, through the pandemic, we had to do some sort of radical and last-minute changes to the Brown Act because of the pandemic and the lockdown. So we now have a law that allows for teleconferencing in a less onerous way than used to be required under the Brown Act. Before this law, you could teleconference from an alternate location. For example, council members sometimes do that if they're on vacation or at a conference. But under the prior law, you would have to post the meeting agenda at the location where those people were and make that location open and available to members of the public, no matter how unlikely it would be that someone might actually show up. We've had that done in when there's people dealing with medical issues and so on. Now it's a little bit easier. We still must have a quorum in the live meeting, except under certain circumstances. And we don't have to post the agenda at each location where someone might be calling in. We do still have to provide, as you will always at your meetings, an opportunity for the public to comment on items both on your agenda and off your agenda. And should you be having consent calendar items, such as minutes, for example, you typically would be able to take comment on those items, those consent calendar items, at the same time as you take comment on non-agenda items. Right? So we can only do the remote meetings under certain circumstances with a declaration every 30 days where we are in a state of emergency and there is a need for distancing for health reasons. Next. So remember how I said you can violate the Brown Act? You could be having a Brown Act meeting right now even if you all weren't here. It's very easy to violate the Brown Act. I hope you will start to notice right away that when staff send you emails, they will often append the opening with, please do not reply all. That's the worst offender for the Brown Act, is that reply all button. So please keep that in mind. Try never to use that when you are dealing with communications for this commission, particularly if you are getting a communication from staff. So just be careful with that. But any kind of extra live meeting in person contacts can result in a Brown Act violation. There's a number of ways: emails, texts, phone calls, etc. Social media, there's a new rule about social media. Finally, it took them 20 years. We kept waiting for it. We finally got it. But one of the things that can happen too is that you, Commissioner, might be speaking to Commissioner Wondercheck. And then she might be speaking to Commissioner Ashendorf. Well, now you've had 3 commissioners speaking about the same topic. Remember, this is about a single topic that's within your agenda. Within your legislative scope. So you have to be really careful. If you have that first conversation with Commissioner Wondercheck, then you need to make sure before you have it that she hasn't already spoken to another commissioner about that matter. Because if you get into a situation where you've involved a majority of a quorum in the conversation or majority of the commissioners, then you have a Brown Act problem, all right? So keep in mind that you want to find out if somebody you want to talk to about a particular topic has already discussed it with someone else. Count, make sure you get to less than 3 or 3 or less once you have your final member. And also don't share with others things that you may have heard from another commissioner on that topic. Have those conversations here and in public, okay? We always ask you to disclose any ex-parte communications you may have had with people who are interested in a matter before the commission, and that you do that at the beginning of each meeting. And then the social media policy, I think, is on the next page. If you go ahead and, yeah. Oh, emails. Be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. Yeah, read that. That's good. Also, you all will be given an email address for city emails. Please use that email address for city business and not your personal email. Otherwise, when we get a public records request, we're going to have to ask you for your own communications, texts, and so on relating to that matter. You don't want me going through your phone, and you don't want me going through your emails, and I don't want to. So please use your city email address for those communications. And I can just say that many people text the way we used to talk, and we don't need to, especially about city business. And please avoid using those means while you are in the course of a meeting as well. Okay, next. So the Facebook, Twitter, newspaper stories, etc. As I say, we waited 20 years for the rule, which is now finally addressed by the Brown Act. Next slide. So you can communicate with the public relating to matters within the scope of your jurisdiction, to answer questions, to provide information to them, and to solicit information. However, you should not use any social media platform to discuss topics within your jurisdiction with other members of your body, and you are precluded from posting, commenting on, or using digital icons to react to other members' communications on social media. Don't forward them, don't comment about them, reposting, sharing, etc. All of those can constitute a violation of the Brown Act now. So please be very, very careful. Next. Again, you can have individual conversations with one another or others. Those individual contacts are not considered a violation of the Brown Act unless they lead to a serial meeting. Also, it's certainly likely that from time to time, a majority of you will be present at social events, openings, meetings, other things like that. That's fine. Just stay away from conversations about your commission business. Okay? Next. We have to post our agendas 72 hours before the regular meetings. If it were necessary for you to have a special meeting, we would require at least 24 hours notice of that. Our agendas have to identify the time and place of the meeting and include a general description of every item on the agenda. We are obligated to send out agenda materials to anybody who requests them. We also post all of these materials online. And we have a book that is kept in the city clerk's office where any late received materials are also available. Those will also be shared with you, often either at the dais or via email. Go ahead. We can't take any action on items that are not on the agenda, except under very limited circumstances. Most of the ones that might occur for you would be things like making brief responses to comments from the public, brief reports by board members and staff, and or requests to agendize meeting matter for a future meeting. Closed sessions are very strictly limited. We can only have them where required by statute, allowed by statute, and disclosure of information is illegal. It's not likely that we'll be having a closed session with you. Lucky you. Next item. So a Brown Act violation can lead to a decision that you make being nullified, having to do it again. That is a cumbersome process. It's time consuming, it causes delay, and it can lead to both criminal sanctions, fines, and adverse media attention. So you should really assume that all information is going to become public or is either public now or will become public, and please avoid discussing agency business with fellow commissioners outside of public meetings. We're going to do a little bit of basics of the Roberts Rules now. We have the basic motion, which is move staff's recommendation or move to adopt resolution number so-and-so with the following amendment, that type of thing. That's your basic motion. Once that motion is made and seconded, it's considered to be on the floor and available for discussion by members of the commission and by the public. You will typically take public comment before you discuss it amongst yourself, but we encourage you to ask any questions before a motion is made. Once you've had the public comment, there's a motion on the floor. There's a couple of different ways that those motions can be changed. You can make a friendly request to the maker of the motion to amend it in some specific way, or if that is declined, you can do one of two things. You can either make a motion to amend the motion, which then has to be seconded and voted on before the amendment is made, or you can make a substitute motion, and that's where you make an alternate motion to the motion on the floor. If the substitute motion gets seconded, then that motion would be voted on first. Next. Okay, there's an example of how you would make that motion. Next. This is how you would ask for a friendly amendment. If the body doesn't want to do it, then you have to make that formal motion that's referenced. All right, next. There is a description of what a substitute motion is. That's basically not, it's typically not where you want a minor amendment to the main motion, although it may end up as a substitute motion. It's typically when you want to do something completely different. It might be deny the application or receive and file instead of taking an action. So, you are an advisory body to the council. What that typically means is rather than making final decisions, you will make recommendations to the city council. There may be times when you meet jointly with other commissions and committees to consider items. In fact, because the arts was combined with the parks and arts for a little while there when we had PACs, there may be times when this body will meet jointly with the Parks Commission if it relates to matters of, say, arts in the parks, as is a good example. So your role is advisory. You don't have the power to make final decisions. Nonetheless, you do have a lot of power in terms of what your recommendations to the council are. We'll talk about the ethical considerations, things that I want you to be careful about, and conflicts. There are only a few main rules that we're going to talk about in terms of conflicts today. When you get your further, deeper training, you'll get the whole kit and caboodle. So tonight it'll be brief. So next slide, please. The role of advisory body is to improve the quality of city government by giving the council expertise and resources beyond their own knowledge and experience and beyond typical public comments so that they can make better informed decisions. It gives you an opportunity to get out in the community and serve as the eyes and ears of the council members on matters that they may not have the time to attend to. It also improves lines of communications between the public and the council by providing greater opportunities for the public to weigh in to the council on matters within the jurisdiction of this commission. You can make recommendations, but the staff members are the ones who remain responsible to their supervisors and to the city manager who ultimately reports to the city council. I also report directly to the city council. So if there's an issue with the city attorney's office at any point in time, talk to me. It's not likely that you'll have us here at your meetings, although we certainly would probably be there if there was a joint meeting between you and another commission, especially if it was the planning commission, or if there's some reason that we need to be here on a particular item. You are not given supervisory authority over staff. However, we do require you to take the supervisory sexual harassment prevention training because you do give direction to staff. So it's not the same thing as supervising them as you would supervise an employee, but you are treated as an employee of the city for purposes of a number of things, including that requirement. Let's see. Okay, so we have the Planning Commission has specific powers. You don't have those. You don't do land use related issues, and you don't have quasi-adjudicative decision-making authority. You should be glad about that, because that makes the whole conflict, financial interest and so on, much easier for you to have to deal with than the planning commissioners. Next slide, please. Even though you probably won't have to worry too much about financial conflicts, you still have an obligation to act in good faith and ethically in a manner that you believe is in the best interests of the city. You won't always agree, but I think we all have come to expect, at least in Costa Mesa, a high degree of civility among members of the commissions, committees, and council, as well as with the public. I certainly don't expect this group to vary one iota from that history. It is improper for any member to use personal financial gain or any other way of self-dealing information received as a result of your membership, which is not a matter of public record. But even if it is a matter of public record, there will be times that you will probably be required to recuse yourselves, even though you're only making advisory decisions. And the reason for that is because even advisory decisions require you to participate. And participation under the Brown Act means that you're involved in some way in the decision. Participation could be anything from somebody who makes a request to members of the staff who put together staff reports and recommendations, to the staff members who advise you here during your meetings, as well as to you in your conversations, discussions here on the dais, and action that you may take on any of those recommendations. So, for example, if there was an item before this commission that related to the Orange County Museum of Art, we would probably expect one of you, at least, to recuse herself from the decision in that case. So, and again, that would be at any stage of the proceeding. So it's not just when you're sitting up here on the dais. Your participation begins when the first matter is first brought forward and doesn't end until the matter is finally decided. So it's important to remember that. We'll get you the AB 1234 training, and through that you will see that we will talk about what material financial interests are. There are a whole variety of them, including real property interests. In your situations, you may own homes in Costa Mesa or within boundaries of some of the things that we'll be talking about. You may have an interest in real property of a different kind. If you have a business here and you lease an office, for example, that would be a real property interest. Sources of income. There are a number of different kinds of things that we'll talk about in the AB 1234 training that you'll learn. But basically, anything that someone might question your ability to be impartial or that may give rise to a financial interest, either negative or positive to you, those are the things that are typically considered financial conflicts of interest and that we will go through in more depth with you. We also try to avoid any conflicting memberships in different committees or commissions. I'll give you a classic example. You can't serve on the city council and on the school board at the same time, right? Why is that? Because they have different jurisdictions, but they each have to make decisions and that sometimes might overrule or interfere with the decisions of that other body. So the same thing can happen with committees and commissions, and so we would encourage you to be careful. And if we believe there may be a clash, you may be asked to step down from a position. We do ask that you avoid making public comments on council actions or public policies that may appear to represent the official position of your body. Please, you may identify yourselves always when you speak and act as a member of the commission, but please make sure that you clearly indicate that you are speaking on your own behalf when you are not speaking on behalf of the body as a whole. Government Code Section 1090 has to do with contracts, approval of contracts in which you may have a financial interest. It's, again, not likely that this body will be approving any contracts. However, you could be making recommendations to the council regarding such contracts. And so just like in the case of the Political Reform Act, you cannot participate in decisions that could have an impact on a contract in which you have an interest. Next. The financial interest for real property, again, these are just sort of bullet points. We have the 1,000-foot rule, which is the amount of space that we could be looking at. If it's within 500 feet, we're going to presume it's material. If it's outside of 1,000 feet, we're going to presume it's not material. Between 500 and 1,000, we're going to look at specific information to determine whether or not it's material. Next. Always, if you have questions about ethics, conflicts of interest, etc., you can talk to the city clerk. The city clerk's office is extremely knowledgeable about these issues. That's not always true, but it is here. And I would encourage you to start there, but you can always contact my office. In addition, you can contact the Assistant City Attorney, Tarquin Preziosi. You may have a relationship with him or know him. So we're always available if you have questions about these issues. Next slide. Or is that the end? Questions?
Are there any questions for City Attorney Barlow from the commission?
Good.
All right. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I do want to say that when we do the more formal trainings that you will be required to do, those are interactive trainings, and I hope that Acting Chair Ashendorf can encourage you to attend mine instead of some of the others that might be available. I like to think they're very interesting, and it's a wonderful interactive work for me, and it's a good opportunity for the commissioners too to get to know one another and to really discuss some interesting ideas that don't necessarily come up often in your regular work. So
Absolutely.
with that, I'm going to stay through your election, and then I'm going to sneak out.
All right. Thank you very much.
If I could, thank you, Ms. Barlow, for being here. I think you have Scantrons now under your pack. We're going to do a quick quiz to make sure you're all paying attention to that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But we as staff are here to answer any questions you have. As a new commission with many new commissioners, please reach out. You can send myself an email, Laura an email. She'll make sure she gets it to me. Brenda and I have frequent conversations about these things. I've been very fortunate throughout my career to have wonderful attorneys that have given, training and guidance to staff members about what to do. If there's anything that I feel I'm not comfortable answering because I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on TV or movies or in the theater, I will definitely talk to either Brenda or Kim or her staff to do it. But our job as staff, as liaisons, is to protect you from any and all things related to the commission business. We don't want it to reflect poorly on staff on the commission or you as individual commissioners, especially when we get into really important decisions with regards to like changes to the code and a whole bunch of fun things that you'll get a chance to do. So again, if you're not sure, please don't hesitate to reach out.
All right. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the election of chair and vice chair. To whom do I turn that over?
So I was going to kind of walk you through it, and this is a great chance to put some of what Ms. Barlow said into action. So you will have chances to make motions and seconds and do voting. How this process works, hopefully you've had a chance to read through the item. It's a 7-member commission, but we only have 6 members at present. We will hopefully get our 7th member sometime early in 2023, which means we would need 4 yes votes in order to make something go through. We usually take these things separate, so we would do the election for the chairperson first. What we would need is a nomination from one of the commissioners for a fellow commissioner to serve as the role of chair. If they accept that nomination, we either wait for additional nominations, or if there is only one, there could be only one. So I will turn it back to you, Chair, to hold that part. After we do the chairperson, we would do the same thing for the vice chairperson, and then we would then switch seats and let the chairperson, the new chairperson, if there is one, finish the rest of the meeting.
Perfect. Thank you very much. With that, we'll open this to the election of chair for the Arts Commission. Are there nominations?
I nominate Charlene for the role of chairperson.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Well, that's not the official motion. Are there any other nominations
Thank
for
you.
potential chairs?
Are there any other nominations for chair at this time? All right, seeing none, then a second?
Ask for a motion?
There was a motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
nomination is a motion.
Yes, nomination will be treated as a motion. You do want to take public comment before you take a vote, though.
Thank you very much. Is there any public comment, Ms. Fatua?
There are no public members currently.
All right, thank you. Then we'll close public comment. Then we will call for the question.
So at this time, since everyone is present, everyone is able to actually select on their screen, yes or no. So go ahead and do so. And then once everyone has voted, it'll move forward. So the motion has carried 6-0 to approve Chair Ashendorf as chair.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The next item moving forward is Vice Chair of the Arts Commission. Are there nominations for Vice Chair? I'd like to nominate Deborah Wondercheck for Vice Chair of the Commission. Are there other nominations? I see your mic. All right, no other nomination. Is there a second? I see. Seconded by Mann. There we go. Thank you. I'm looking all around here and I can't see Ms. Fatua.
There are no public members, so we can now go ahead and select from your screens.
All right.
There's one more vote. Yes.
It's all right. There we go.
All right. Motion carries 6-0 to have Commissioner Wondercheck as Vice Chair. Congratulations.
Thank you and congratulations. Well, that was a little rocky. We'll get better at this. Okay. Thank you very much. The next item on tonight's agenda is Arts and Culture Staff Report. Is that Ms. Garner? Thank you.
Yes, that's me. I'm so happy to be here this evening. And before I get started, I wanted to kind of do a basic run through of our current programming and projects so you're all aware of what we're currently working on for the Arts and Culture Staff Report. Before I do that, just a little bit about myself. Academically, I have a master's in arts management from the University of Oregon, go Ducks, and a bachelor's in art history and museum studies from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. And then professionally in career, my most recent job was with the city of Carlsbad, and I was the arts education manager for that city. And then before that, I've worked for the California Institute of the Arts in Santa Clarita, California. And then I have also worked as an arts education manager for Lane Arts Council, which is a countywide council in Eugene, Oregon, where I did my graduate work. So a little bit about me. And then also growing up, I had a mother who was really passionate about the arts. And so I had dance growing up, and she's the reason I'm here tonight. So I know many of you have similar experiences too with your parents. So yeah, so I will move on to the Arts and Culture Staff Report, and I want to go over some of our current programming and projects that I will also say, as Chair Ashendorf mentioned, are the product of the Culture Arts Committee, a volunteer group that really put a lot of time into promoting arts and culture for the city of Costa Mesa. So I just want to acknowledge that, how important that is to have volunteers in the community to make sure that the arts are present in city government. And then also Ashley Thomas over here to my right, who did a lot of work, extra work for arts and culture, and when she worked for the Culture Arts Committee and did a lot of those programs for for us. So thank you for that. I just wanted to acknowledge that. So I'm just going to go quickly through. This shouldn't take too long, and you all have your report to kind of reference. What I did for each program was I put a number, which is a goal and action item number from the Arts and Culture Master Plan, which was approved in March of 2021 by the City Council. So you all have a copy of that, and you're welcome to reference that as I go through some of this. The first on the list is the arts grants. We do have a small arts grant program. I'm currently working on new guidelines and an agreement for that. So that's something that I'll bring back to the Arts Commission for approval and for you to look over, and if you have any comments for discussion. And I'm thinking timeline based on how fast we can do this, we'll probably try to open that in spring, open up the application. I'm hoping March, around that time. The next on the list is the Arts Directory. We do have an Arts Directory on our website that was originally just Costa Mesa. I've kind of expanded to Orange County artists. We have about over 100 artists and organizations currently on the website, and I'm always kind of trying to expand that. And then I think also moving forward as we start introducing public art to the city, we may try to kind of create more specific lists for, you know, mural artists and things like that. So something that's going to be constantly being worked on by staff. Art Venture, we just had our Art Venture event in September of 2022. It's a juried art show and exhibition event with a gala and awards ceremony and then a community event. And we had over 100 artists participate this year. And then about 280 works of art. So it was great success, lots of people attended. And so we'll be working on that as well, and I'll come back to the Arts Commission with more details as we move forward. We also have exhibit spaces in city facilities. That's something I have a handbook for, and some things I'd like to kind of work on with those spaces as well. And also the Arts and Culture Master Plan mentions perhaps partnering with businesses and pairing them with artists so that they could use wall space in businesses. So that might be something that I introduce in an exhibit spaces handbook to kind of add to what we already have. And then we have public art and the utility art box program. Currently, I'm sure you've all seen them. We have about 40 utility art boxes, and the city owns about 120. So we have a lot more that we can do. And so we're currently working on those. We have funding for those each fiscal year. And again, I have kind of a handbook I've created for that, like a how-to and how to apply to that program that I'll make some edits and revisions to and bring back to the Arts Commission. I'd like to make a few changes, and you'll all be a part of that. And then future programming and projects for this fiscal year, which ends on June 30th for 2023. We have some new things as designated by the Arts and Culture Master Plan. The first one on there is the art crawl experience. And so the concept here is just creating an art crawl where people can experience Costa Mesa arts. And so what I'll probably do, and this is in the works, and again, something I'll bring back, we'd like to kind of have something themed to types of artists and have a shuttle kind of bring people to each space and have some kind of art experience, whether it's art education or a panel or a workshop or something. So that's in the works, the art crawl experience. We also have a new free park performances, and we will try to probably do 2 concerts, free park performances this fiscal year, and more on that as well in the works. And the next on the list is the Arts Volunteer Group. We just started that up, and that's currently on our website. So if you know anyone who wants to volunteer for arts events or even parks events and be a part of the arts, we have an application on the website currently that you can send them to. And the last piece is we are also going to be working on expanding the arts branding for arts and culture. So we're looking for a consultant to kind of help us brand what we do as a kind of a new entity here for the city of Costa Mesa. So that's kind of the quick rundown of what we're doing. I'm always happy to answer questions if you have questions about any of these, but as I mentioned, I'll be bringing a lot of this back to the Arts Commission, and you'll all have a chance to kind of look at these things and give input and have great discussions, hopefully. So thank you so much, and thanks for being here tonight.
Ms. Garner, just a couple questions for
Sure.
you. First, and I know this is premature, but when you look to exhibit spaces beyond the 3, are you looking, or will you be considering expansion to other city facilities?
I think that's on the table. We haven't really discussed it yet. I know in the Arts and Culture Master Plan, it does specifically mention kind of partnering with, businesses and the community at large. So it could be a combination of that as well.
Okay.
So,
And there was a time when there were a couple of cultural arts grants that were approved, and either the project was stalled out or was in transition. Do you know whatever happened to, in particular, the Home on the Range mural?
that's being worked on currently with, Kevin Stoddart, who's one of the
Wonderful.
recreation supervisors. He's working with the artists to kind of rework that mural.
Perfect.
Yes,
Great.
absolutely.
Thank
in the
you.
works.
Are there any other questions? Yes, Commissioner.
Hi, yes. I was wondering if we are going to get a copy of this, because I find this very interesting, everything you have on here, and I don't see a copy of it here.
You mean the agenda?
Yeah, just the staff, what you're showing us, yes.
Yes, yeah. There's actually, it's online, and I
so
can
just
send you a
get
copy
online.
as well if you'd like.
That's
No problem.
online,
Yep.
we're good. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Is there a budget for the programs?
Yes, we do have a budget attached. And so each fiscal year, what we'll do is we'll go to finance and kind of pitch new things from the Arts and Culture Master Plan to move some other pieces forward. Yes.
And so what is the budget amount for this fiscal year?
It's about, I think, 97,000 is what it is for the programs that are kind of laid out, the ones that I've mentioned. Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So with regards to the budget for the Arts and Culture Master Plan, there was recommendations for year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. We didn't necessarily take them in order. One of the ones that was our favorite was bringing in an art specialist. So we have one. So that was a goal that we took out of order, because we thought if we were going to be able to accomplish a lot of the other goals, Lorette mentioned Ashley. Ashley has other programs that she does in addition to art, so she couldn't dedicate herself full-time to it. So having a full-time dedicated art specialist like Lorette, and I think she's been here less than a year, and we've had some very impassioned conversations about the way she, comes to our city with all this knowledge and experience, and it's been eye-opening for me. And we don't get into dust-ups at all, but it's like her trying to impart her knowledge and wisdom on me. And I appreciate her outlook and, the fun conversations that we have in terms of my growth and development in that area. When it comes back to the budget, to answer your question, we do go back and ask for specific things each year as part of the budget process. Right now, most of our funding will come from a cannabis-related tax, which hasn't quite taken effect yet. If you've been following the cannabis industry, but we will continue to push to build this program. We didn't have an arts division in our department, and that's something that we've been talking about as staff, is trying to grow an actual arts division that will be more than just Lorette or additional part-time staff to help. It's going to take time. The establishment of this commission is also, another huge step forward in the process. So we'll be happy to do budget updates for you at a future, meetings if you'd like. But it is kind of work in progress, and there isn't necessarily a set number. She hopes we have enough money just for her salary every year. So, that's the one goal we want to make sure we do. We have funding for the commission and all the commission endeavors that come with it. But there will be, additional asks that are made during the budget process.
Yeah, thank you. I think the budget is super important. So I would definitely love to have updates as we continue. And I'd also just love to say that I really like the diversity of the programs that are already in place, and I think they're exciting and sophisticated, and I'm proud to help on them.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're excited.
I do have one question. Regarding the arts grants, I'm noticing that it says funds will be granted to art projects. Could that be changed to state arts projects other than like art? Is it specifically for art, or is it instrumental?
No, just
concerts?
A flaw in the semantics. We can definitely change that for sure.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions by commissioners? All right, seeing none. Do you have an update on Arts and Culture Master Plan for us, Ms. Garner?
Oh, it's just, it's kind of all in there in that, what I just spoke on. So like after each program, there's a goal and an action item that it references.
Perfect.
So, yep. And I'll just keep kind of doing that. And, you know, every time I give updates, so you kind of know what I'm referencing, and then you can kind of familiarize yourself with the Arts and Culture Master Plan that way as well.
Thank you very much.
And a hard copy has been provided for all the commissioners. It is available electronically as well, but it's something you can always bring to a commission meeting if you want to use it as a resource during the meeting. Again, it's a guide. We will slightly take things out of order if the opportunity, presents itself, but it is, our document that we will be referring to multiple times.
All right. We'll move on. If there is nothing else, then we'll move to additional comments by commissioners at this point. I would just like to remind everyone that we're so proud of the city staff and their spotlight. It's when it comes into my mailbox, it just kind of jumps right out. It's getting better every time. Thank you, Ms. Villaseñor and your staff. There's a lot of information in there on arts and culture, so be sure to take a look at that. I also wanted to ask to make sure that you noted the public comment about the bus shelter, Ms. Garner, and Director Minter, if you had an update or any information on the vandalism that occurred on the Ponderosa mural that happened on Halloween on Baker Avenue, I would appreciate hearing an update.
Do you want me to speak to that, Jason?
You can go first, yeah.
Yeah, well, Ashley and I Ashley just briefed me. So that one it's been cleaned up already. So it's already been addressed. So really quickly, which was really great. So.
I did go by and take a look. You can see a little bit of the outline from the vandalism that was there. I cannot report on anything that's taken place on the police side of it, though.
That's okay. It's been handled so that the graffiti has been removed. Perfect. All right. Any other comments by commissioners? All right, then.
If I could, just a few follow-up comments. While some of that information was fresh in your head, the emails, as Kim mentioned, typically we'll try to put please do not reply to all. There are times when we may do a BCC, but that means that you as commissioners may not know that other commissioners were included. So one of the reasons why we do include all of your names so that they're visible is so that you can see that all your fellow commissioners got it. What we want to try to do is create good practices. It's not that you can't email each other about things like, oh, hey, there's upcoming, event here, or there's this or that, but it just creates bad habits. And what we don't want is those habits to continue. And sometimes we get into that reply to all button that Kim mentioned. And, we just don't want to get in any trouble that way. Sometimes some of these conversations happen and it's not malicious in nature at all, but it still could be a violation of the Brown Act. There are times when sometimes committees do break into ad hoc committees, or there could form standing committees. That would typically be a committee of 3 people. The Brown Act still is in play, but instead of quorum being 3 or 4, it would be 2. Those subcommittee meetings would need to be agendized and posted, and the Brown Act rules all apply for those committees. Sometimes when we get into very heavy tasks, it's good to break it up into an ad hoc committee or something to have more focused attention on it that can be brought back to the full commission for review. A couple other things we talked about, the groups. So, we were planning to have a little reception with some cookies and coffee and treats for you all. If we do gather, again, it's 6 commissioners that could potentially be in the same room at the same time. So while, we would expect that we haven't had any real business to talk about, that you wouldn't be talking about things that could appear on a future agenda. And, on occasion, it's, the meeting is over and you want to adjourn and you're walking to your car. Even 2 or 3 commissioners standing around a car waiting to leave can be a misperception that you don't want the public to be like, well, they just talked about this, and in the parking lot, I swear I heard them, or, I overheard them talking about it. So just kind of be aware of those things. I don't expect this being very controversial, but I just want to protect you now from meeting 1, because a lot of that stuff, it has happened to other commissions and other bodies and other government entities. So just keep in mind on that. If you do think there's a potential conflict based on what we talked about tonight, based on your ethics training, please let us know soon. It could affect the way, we handle that meeting or we handle that agenda. Perhaps there's 2 or 3 commissioners that all have the similar conflict. That would change the way we did it if we didn't have enough voting members or if we, didn't have a quorum because of it. So please let us know or just ask a question. We're here to help. We as staff, Laurette, Ashley, Monique, we're all here for you. Laura from the technical side can help as well. We want to find opportunities for the commission to engage in activities where they can, meet and greet the public, whether it be through, an event like Art Venture or other public opportunities with the volunteers. So we want to try to put you out there. So if there are opportunities to engage, please try to take us up on that if you can, if your schedules allow. We do love having in-person meetings. The first year, almost year and a half that I was here, everything was on Zoom, and it just did not have the personal feel. I don't know if Brenda's going to let us take these down at any point, but I think it's been mentioned like maybe one day we could. I do like, filling up the chambers with some crowds eventually when we get to certain items. But if you cannot make a meeting, please let staff know. And we do have the Zoom option that is available. It kind of changes the way we have to do things, so please let us know as soon as possible. The chair, our newly elected chair, congratulations, Chair Ashendorf. But as a staff member or as the director of the department and the primary liaison, the chair and I will talk regularly about how we set up things on the agenda. Just because a request comes before the public doesn't mean it will automatically be on the next agenda. It's my job as the director to kind of oversee what staff do and their workload, and they're doing a lot of things outside of just the commission. So there's a little bit of scheduling and negotiating that needs to happen, but our goal is to bring things back to the commission, as soon as possible, time allowing. So this is a very exciting process. I've honestly never been a part of a brand new commission. I've been to tons of commission meetings, but never a first one. So I'm very honored to be here. And again, thank you so much for being here. Reach out to me, or, you can always talk to me about anything. There's no Brown Act issues about you as commissioners talking to me or staff. It's only about you talking to the other, members of the commission. So I hope that does it. If you have any questions for me, you can ask them now. I'm not sure if staff have other comments, but I will turn it back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Director Minter. Any other comments or questions from commission? Yes, please.
I have one. The empty chair that is here for the empty commissioner, is that something that is going to be voted on by the city council, or is that something that will be the commissioners will get to look at who was before available in the pool of people they had, and then I know the commissioner or the city council member that wasn't here to put in his vote? I was just curious about that.
The city council will make that appointment. The clerk's office will manage that. If you know other applicants, there will be a recruitment that's sent out. Brenda, do you have an idea of when that would go out? Sorry, I caught her off guard.
That's okay. First part of December.
So if you know other people that you think would make good commissioners and would fill this chair nicely, they do have to sit next to me. I thought you were going to ask to move chairs and come down closer to me, but I guess not.
Well, but I was actually, well, that was my second question. But my first one, yes, was, so it's a brand new recruitment. It's not going to be out of the old pool. It's brand new.
Correct. It'll be a brand new recruitment. And then we will reach out to people that applied before but were not appointed and alert them.
So if they were not selected before, they are eligible to reapply if they so choose. But yes, that would hopefully take place in January by appointment, and then that commissioner would join us at our February meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments or questions? Any final comments from staff? Ms. Garner, Ms. Thomas, Ms. Green, Ms. Fatua, Ms. Villasenor.
She knows me too well.
Thank you.
I always have something to say.
I know.
Ashley always has one more thing.
I know
I always
it was
have
coming.
one more thing. I would encourage all commissioners to browse the website. If you're looking for more information, go through the manuals. You're welcome to read up on the current programs. And if you have any questions, feel free to send us an email. We'd be happy to answer those. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And feedback is important. I appreciate you holding up and being proud of the spotlight. We're very proud of it, and its kind of revised edition or revised look. Feel free to go through it if you see things that you think could be enhancements to it. We do take feedback, constructive criticism. I mean, I would say in constructive criticism, but I don't expect that of any of you. But feel free to share any comments or thoughts that you have. As there was a lot of deliberation among staff to put that together. We want to do the best we can to market, but sometimes you don't see things the way the public does from inside your house. You need people looking in from the outside. So feel free to go through that. Like Ashley mentioned, look at the webpage. If you feel there's gaps or you want more information, let us know. That's our job, to try to inform you, to help inform the public. That's where we're all here for, so that we can have a better arts, here in the city of Costa Mesa.
All right, with that, seeing no other comments, then I will officially adjourn this first inaugural commission meeting for the arts until December 1st. Thank you very much.
And if you can all join us down, we'll take a quick photo. A ceremonial photo. I know you did. We got photos, I think, of the swearing in, but the official close of the first meeting, we'll go down in the history books. So you all get to be a part of it.
Adjourned at 7:14. Thank you.